All right, good morning. My name is Jeff Swoboda. I'm the police chief here in Elgin. I have some very preliminary information of what occurred this morning, and so I really want to stress that it's preliminary information. And second thing I want to stress is that the Illinois State Police is handling the investigation regarding the officer-involved shooting. That is per state law. So I'm not going to get very far in advance of their investigation with my statement. So I will do this preliminary information, open it up for some very basic questions, but I just want to make sure everybody understands it's the state police who's running with this investigation. So this morning at approximately 12:34 a.m., officers made contact with a suspicious vehicle in the area of Cedar Avenue here in Elgin. During the encounter, the driver, a 34-year-old female, fled from the scene in her vehicle. Officers attempted a traffic stop on the vehicle, in which the vehicle did not stop, and officers then terminated their pursuit. A short time later, her vehicle was located on westbound 90 at 25, near Route 25. It had obvious signs of damage. Elgin officers made contact with the subject and observed that she was armed with a knife. Officers then disengaged immediately and proceeded to negotiate with her for over an hour. During that time, she would periodically move her car up several feet. At one point, officers noticed that a fire had started inside the vehicle. They approached the burning vehicle in an attempt to pull her out. There was an exchange, and that's the part that the state police will be investigating what occurred, that then the officer discharged their firearm, striking the female. She was transported to St. Alexis Hospital in Hoffman Estates, where she was pronounced dead. Her name is being withheld pending notification to the family. The Illinois State Police will be investigating the officer-involved portion of this investigation. And again, that is per Illinois State statute. At this time, we're still attempting to make contact with the family, so we are not offering up any information about her. You know, and just on a personal note, I want to express my condolences to the family. Anytime someone loses their life, especially in an incident like this, it's just extremely sad. And so we're working through that within the police department, but I also just want to say, offer our condolences on behalf of the Elgin Police Department to the family. And again, with that, I'll open it up for any questions, but again, I'm not going to go very far because this is not our investigation. So with that,
the negotiations happened, it lasted, you said, about an hour or over an hour?
Over an hour we were negotiating with her.
So what kinds of things were they talking about during that hour? What was causing her to do what she was doing?
We don't know, and when we are negotiating with someone, we're just trying to talk with them and have cases end peacefully. We go on thousands of calls a year, many of which we're negotiating with individuals, and usually we can get them to work with us. But in this case, apparently that obviously didn't happen, and so we're working through exactly what was said, but we're not going to be able to speculate what she was thinking at the time.
Chief, can you talk about, tell us what your use of force policy is?
Well, we can have that for you. We can put it out, but in a nutshell, I think where you're getting at is officers use deadly force when they believe they themselves or another person is in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm.
How many officers fired?
Well, that's part of the investigation.
How many officers were on the scene?
Again, I don't have an exact number. Multiple. The officer who discharged the weapon was not alone. Again, we were negotiating with for over an hour.
And when you do negotiations like this in the middle of an expressway, this is all happening in the middle of the Jane Addams, right? How many are negotiating with her? Is it one person, one point of contact to talk to the person?
Well, again, this is a very fluid situation. We're out there on patrol in the middle of the night trying to talk with someone. So we've negotiated with, and that's how we do business here in Elgin. We'll negotiate with people for hours. And so, again, I want to also push that it was a fire that had started inside the vehicle that caused us to cut off the negotiations and move in and attempt to pull her out. But, you know, generally speaking, there's a negotiator there. There's someone there also listening and giving them advice, and there are other people watching the person, you know, whether they're in a car or in a house. So it's not a one-person job by any means. However, having said that, there are times where an officer is negotiating with a person just one-on-one, depending on what the call for service is. But this wasn't the case.
What's her demeanor? Was she distraught about
I don't know.
Chief, can we just clarify? So the woman is, she stops the car in the middle of the expressway, is basically what happened?
Again, whether or not there was damage to the vehicle, we don't know what caused the stop. The car was on the expressway. We found the car on the expressway. We terminated the pursuit. Again, this, the preliminary information, we terminated the pursuit, went back through the area, saw that the car was stopped with damage, in which we went up and started talking with her, noticed a knife, backed away, started talking with her, and then eventually moved in when a fire was started.
So, okay, so the damage that you're talking about that you saw, it would be damage from a crash, not any kind of previous fire?
That's what we're gonna find out.
Okay, and then officers engage her in conversation, and you're saying that she inches the car, she like gets it, was she negotiating from outside of the car?
That's part of the whole, that's, again, how this exactly happened, but what I do know is that she at times moved her car.
Just a
So,
couple inches?
I don't know
and
inches,
stopped.
feet, but yeah, there were multiple times where she moved her vehicle.
So at some point, she sets a fire inside the car?
Again, I'm not gonna go far how the fire started. Again, I can't get in front of the
No, no, no,
investigation.
not
There was
now.
there were flames spotted inside the vehicle.
Was she impeding,
Couple more questions.
was she impeding traffic when she stopped on the expressway?
Don't know what traffic was out there. I'm sure our officers stopped traffic as best they could.
Okay. Is it true that she lunged at officers with a
That's
knife?
part of the investigation.
Chief, how old is she again, and is she familiar to Elgin police officers?
I don't know how familiar she is, but she's a 34-year-old female.
Has she been arrested before?
I don't have any of that information. And the one thing I want to kind of stress, this just happened a couple hours ago, and we wanted to get in front of you all. Elgin officers have body cameras. Officers I've seen had body cameras. They're not even downloaded yet. But again, wanted to get in front of all of you so we could at least give this specific information that we do have, the factual. But all of these other things of what actually occurred out there, nobody's even looked at the body camera yet. So it is something that will be coming out in the future. But again, this is the Illinois State Police investigation, and I'm not going to get in front of their
Is
investigation.
the officer still on duty? Was he on desk duty still?
Per policy, he is relieved of duty. He's on administrative leave right now, having discharged his firearm. So he's not working right
Is
now.
that a paid leave?
Yes,
Paid leave for
how
how
long?
long?
it's as long as he needs to be.
Pending the,
We're working on the investigation, right? Exactly.
So one single officer is on paid.
One single officer is on paid leave pending this investigation.
And this happened in the westbound lanes, right? It was that-
Westbound lanes,
Westbound.
by
How
night.
many shots were fired?
Part of the investigation.
Chief, what was the initial contact? Why were police?
That's what we're still finding out. That something occurred that an officer wanted to make a traffic stop in which this person did not stop. Officers realized with the speed and everything that they just stopped tried to stop the individual, but then later came across the vehicle, stopped on its own, going the opposite way on I-90.
How long did that pursuit last?
We're still looking at that.
So her car exceeded what speed that?
We don't have any of that information yet.
So when your officers encountered her vehicle on Jane Addams, they were headed eastbound and saw her west?
I don't know when the officer saw. I just know that we came across this vehicle. I'll take one more question, and Channel 9 is no longer with us.
Cedar and what?
I don't have the cross street. Cedar Avenue here in Elgin. And we are here all day. We're here all day, so if there are questions, we will get that information and forward it to the PIO inside for the state police. But again, we're not doing the investigation. That's per state law. And so we're here all day. So thank you for your time.